All right, well, I've got all kinds of stuff I'm gonna try to do today. And this is our new salt spreader. It is a Salt Dog, a Byers, and it is an 8-foot auger drive, all electric. We had a 6-foot pintle drive, and I just could not stand all the salt underneath the spreader. It would always travel back with that pintle chain, come back up, and then back here at the back of it, there'd always be a pile. And it drives me crazy because, I mean, I always wash the spreader after every storm and all that. It's incredibly clean. The other one we used all last year, and the grate looked just like this because I washed it every storm. So I figured I'd show you, if you set it up and you have to get it, you know, if you buy it from the dealer like I do, try not to drop that on an extension cord. Didn't want to cut a cord and make fun time, but I just wanted to show you what you'd have to do if you bought one of these and you didn't pay them, you know, whatever the dollar amount is to set it up. There's not a lot to set up. I think I don't want to quote it, but I think the setup where I get mine from is probably $250 to set the spreader up, and then if you have to wire the truck, it's more. I don't know what that noise is. I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. There's a ringing. You got a couple sets of stainless bolts. Keep it just in case they vibrate loose. Here on the welding table that isn't quite done yet. Well, we're about over halfway there, to be honest with you. I don't remember. This goes inside. I think it goes inside is what I think it does, if I remember correctly. So let's just try that. I don't have anybody to help. So and all this V-guard does is it helps keep weight off that auger, so you don't overload it. Our salt is usually pretty dry. Where to put it? I mean, that doesn't look bad. But I think almost say go in the middle, but there's no middle. You either go middle high or middle low, because there's 6 bolts. There's not 5. I think I'm gonna go there. Because we had a SHPE 2000 and a 1500. I actually had 2 of them we bought from the same guy. And it had a very, very small auger in it, and anyways, needless to say, it didn't have a whole lot of load protection on it, but I think I'd rather have a little bit bigger gap just in case we get a clump, but normally my stuff's not clumpy, so that's what, I don't know. That ought to take enough weight off of it. And we may end up cutting this down. That'll be a different video. And actually I was gonna put anti-seize on those because it's stainless. Stainless likes to gall. I have to walk around the back here because you guys are in between the spreader and the excavator. So, let's see. There's that. I would really like to insulate my shop because today it's incredibly warm and windy. Yesterday it was fairly cold and condensation all over everything. The floor's wet. Yeah. If I insulated my shop, it would help that. And I just anti-seize the threads. This anti-seize, I'll show you in a minute. When I was doing a bunch of mulching, we cut the top off and it kind of lets it dry out so it makes more of a putty. I didn't really find that it affects how it works it anyway. A little easier to deal with. Let's do that. And the reason I put anti-seize, and it's incredibly windy, I don't know what that was. But you put anti-seize on, or I put anti-seize. I don't want to tell you to, you do what you want. I put anti-seize on stainless because stainless bolts like to go. But stainless on stainless is not a good situation. And I find that I can take that bolt on and off a couple times without it going that way. So that's what I do. That way if I need to adjust this and see how I'm using this, say I need some on my finger, I can get it paced and I'm not dealing with, like, you know, goopy stuff that's real runny. But it worked really good. We could dip the bolts for the forestry mulcher teeth. We could dip the bolts in there. I say we, it's just me and Sammy. I'm a one-man show with a helper, basically. So all you guys out there that think you can't do it on your own, as long as you want to work, you can do it on your own. You don't have to have a boss. Well, I say that. You do have a boss. It's called your customers. But if you don't want to have somebody else mitigate what you do every day, it is possible. I've been doing it since I was about 17. Took a short break from running my own company, and well, I say short, probably 8 or 10 years. I worked dealership and wrench places and stuff like that, and I figured out that wasn't for me. Had to go back to what I did when I was younger. But I started doing this when I was 17. And I've been around equipment most of my life. Half of my uncles ran equipment, my other half of my uncles were stonemasons, so I do a lot of walls. I can still split stone, stone veneer, do cinder block. Actually, we might start doing work for a sign company, doing like concrete bases for monuments, and then doing the, you know, like a cinder block base and then stone veneering it. So we may have some videos of that. Anyways, this is the only thing I don't like about them. That's, I mean, you know, it'd be nice if that was a little more rigid. Put a piece of tubing across there instead of this. And if you had a piece of tubing across it, see, that thing will oscillate for 3 days. And then if you had a piece of tubing across this, then we could put, you know, you could put a D-ring or something here. Have a D-ring in the middle for picking this thing up and down instead of the deals on the outside. You can just grab it from the middle through the grate, and or just put a square opening through the grate. Anyways, I'm still debating on how I'm gonna put it up on the shelf. Normally we put it up on the shelf. All right, well, if you ever wanted to see what a long bed spreader would look like in a short bed truck, here's what it looked like. We got a very small air gap up here in the front, and it's about 6 or 8 inches too long for my taste, but that shouldn't be an issue because this is an auger drive. A pintle chain pulls from back here at the back first. An auger pulls from, a pintle chain pulls from the front first, and it leaves all the weight in the back. An auger pulls from the back and goes towards the front. So it's gonna pull the weight out of the back of this first before it pulls the weight out of the front. Well, we had a 6-foot Byers pintle chain electric. That's why the truck was already wired. I couldn't show you how to wire it. Here it is wired. And we'll go ahead, and I've got it on the upfitter switches, and you just kick it on there and she'll spin her little heart out. There's your spinner shaft, and there's your auger drive moving, and you can speed it up, slow it down independently, all that neat jazz. There's the vibrator where it's not going to run it a bunch because it's noisy, and I'm not strapped down. There she is, sped up on the spinner drive. And then I'll just lift you guys up. Hopefully you can see the auger in there. And I don't remember on my last one, I think we were like four on the auger and like 7 on the spinner or something. But anyways, if you're wondering what a 8-foot spreader would look like in a short bed truck, I know everybody says, why don't you just buy a long bed truck? Couldn't find one when I was buying this truck. Looked for 6 months. This is what I found. I figured somebody might want to see how hard or easy, sorry, I got the hiccups, how hard or easy it is to put one in there. This is the new style auger. It's got the swing away deal. I don't know why you'd ever have to have that, do that. I mean, maybe if you were wanting to fill up buckets or something. I don't know. See, I could just look at this thing, and I just look at it like the gap here is not the same as the gap here, and I don't know. It drives me crazy when I see stuff that somebody else built. I try to make something better than that. But anyways, this is the, and not saying this is a bad spreader. It's a good spreader. Just, you know, they bang them together. Anyways, but this is a Salt Dog. Here's your model number, serial number. But this is what it looked like if you put it in a short bed truck. Most people don't show a video like this. I figure I would. This is the truck I own, so this is what it's in. I just put it in with 4 straps, one on all 4 corners with the excavator. It's pretty easy. Pick it up, walk it in, call it done. I am going to first, this is how I set it up, and this is how it's been for a while. Extra wiring just zip tied, it's under the bed. So I'm gonna take these wires, and this wire's for the vibrator. I'm gonna run it through those loops, and I'm gonna put a 7-pin plug, because as you can count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wires. And put it in a 7-pin connector. I'm gonna put a 7-pin connector up here at the front of the bed, run this wiring up inside the bed. I'm gonna chop it, put it into the 7-pin, and then I'm gonna take the extra wiring that comes off of that and come through those loops, and I'll probably put a bigger clamp deal there and run it over and literally plug it in like right here, just clunk. Our American, check that out. That's pretty cool. That thing just decided to fly over the land back here. He's pretty close. I'm waving. They ain't paying attention to me. They got better things to do. But anyways, you know, make this thing wider. Kick it over here to where it fits most pickups and it's closer to the bedside. I mean, add like 3 inches to each side of this thing. And then listen to this. Make it a little shorter. If it's wider, make it a little shorter. This approach angle still wouldn't be bad. It's already got a vibrator on it, you know, and make the drag change the same way. Anyways, sorry, that's the engineer coming out at me. I don't understand why they wouldn't make one hopper to fit all kinds of different style trucks. You know, it fits short beds, long beds, whatever. Anyways, smarter people than me make them apparently. But here's your setup. Nice thing is with this dropping salt over here, I mean, that looks awfully close tolerances to me. Maybe I'll put a rubber flap on that or something, because there's no adjustment in this. I can't make that go back any further. Huh. I mean, you would think that this would come out past that a little. I mean, it is, but man, just barely. That thing gets bumped around and beat around or something a little bit, and it ain't gonna work out good. But anyways, this truck may become a flatbed and it'll look a little different on it. But I am gonna take some flat bar. And my helicopter coming back? My helicopter's coming back. Maybe he'll wave at us, or maybe he'll turn sideways or something. That's pretty cool. Right over the house. Woo! That is pretty cool. He's close. I can read numbers on that baby. That's pretty cool. Do some evasive stuff. Laying in the field again. We had one that like swung over here. Shit, he might be laying in the field again. We had one that was like cruising around and he did some crazy stuff and he was like, woo, woo, going nuts, and we went, whoa, landed that thing down, and you should have heard that thing spool up. It just kind of went whoop, gone. It was crazy. Oh yeah, he landed in the field. See, he just came up off of there. This is cool. You guys are getting some pretty cool video. I don't know what I don't know what they do. He does this, or they do it often. I mean, it must be some agreed upon thing or something. They can just land in that field over there or over here. Maybe they can do what they want because they're military, but that's kind of neat. And he's gone. I don't think he's gonna come back. I was hoping he was gonna come back and land in the backyard. That'd be cool. Land that baby in the backyard and just take off. Anyway, see, he's messing up my video. We'll have to leave that in because that was just pretty cool. Anyways, we're gonna put some flat bar here, and what I think I might do is match the spacing. So then when I put this in the flatbed, you know, maybe I can hit these two holes and do something. I might have to modify it, I don't know. Anyways, but we'll bolt it here. Maybe I can figure out, you know what, we can probably bolt to these two bolt holes and I'll make a bracket that's kind of an L bracket and comes down, because then I bet you if I bolt it there and come down, that would keep my spacing off and I could just move it from there to there. We'll probably do that. Anyways, I want kind of a positive stop, so when I go to put this in, I can put it in, then I can kind of shove it up to there so it's a stop, and then I can hook my ratchet strap to here, and then the front one straight down or something, and then it kind of, this one here kind of pulls it into the back of the bed there. Anyways, and I thought about making fork pockets for the bottom. My mini skid really doesn't like it a whole lot. It's pretty long, so I'm thinking about just doing fork pockets across the top here. While I've got it sitting in there, I'm gonna grab my mini skid and see if I can get above it with the forks, and if I could pick it up any at all. If I could, I'll do that, because then I could just pick it up and then I could back underneath it with the pickup, and then I kind of inch it over with my mini skid or something. Anyways, but there's the video. I'm gonna get this thing unwired, pulled back out, put back in the shop, all that neat jazz, and we'll see you again on the next one. I've got plenty of other stuff to do today. May get another video or two in. I went ahead and lubed this, by the way, the two grease zerks here. I pumped it a bunch. I don't think I have any grease coming out up here. Probably don't have grease up on the other end. I'm probably just going to take a tube of grease and put my electric spreader on it and just, we're just going to grease it until I hear something spooge, or until I see a pile of grease somewhere. At least then I'll know it's greased, and then before every storm we'll kind of hit it with 3 or 4 squirts or 6 squirts, something, whatever feels good, and she ought to be good. Anyways, thanks for watching the video. As always, like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it showed you at least, you know, a picture of what it would look